Hello YouTube. This is a video response to TOS 100 who wanted some information on how the word dog is used in the Bible. The Hebrew word for dog is keleb, and it's translated as dog or dogs. Some examples of how this is used in the Hebrew Bible. This is from Psalm 22 verses 16 through 21. In this case, the psalmist seems to be referring to his opponents as dogs. So it could be either opponents of followers of Yahweh or just opponents of the person writing the psalm. For dogs are all around me, a company of evildoers encircles me. My hands and feet have shriveled. I can count all my bones. They stare and gloat over me. They divide my clothes among themselves, and for my clothing they cast lots. But you, O Yahweh, do not be far away. O my help, come quickly to my aid. Deliver my soul from the sword, my life from the power of the dog. Save me from the mouth of the lion. Another example of how this is used is rivals of the current king showing deference to the king. This is from 2 Samuel chapter 9, verses 6 through 8. Merib-Baal, son of Jonathan, son of Saul, came to David and fell on his face and did obeisance. David said, Merib-Baal. He answered, I am your servant. David said to him, Do not be afraid, for I will show you kindness for the sake of your father Jonathan. I will restore to you all the land of your grandfather Saul, and you yourself shall eat at my table always. He did obeisance and said, What is your servant that you should look upon a dead dog such as I am? Another example of how dogs are used in the Hebrew Bible is that they're seen as scavengers, which is looked down upon. They're not hunters and they're not producers. This is from Exodus 22:31. You shall be people consecrated to me. Therefore you shall not eat any meat that is mangled by beasts in the field. Ye shall throw it to the dogs. The Greek word in the New Testament for dog is kunarion. It may be better understood as little dog or even puppy. Here's one example of how it's used. This is from Luke chapter 16, verses 19 through 21. There was a rich man who was dressed in purple and fine linen, and who feasted sumptuously every day. And at his gate lay a poor man named Lazarus, covered with sores, who longed to satisfy his hunger with what fell from the rich man's table. Even the dogs would come and lick his sores. So definitely not a positive thing. Another example from Matthew, how Jesus uses this word, is in chapter 7, verse 6. Do not give what is holy to dogs, and do not throw your pearls before swine, or they will trample them underfoot and turn and maul you. So his reference to the Canaanite woman as a dog is fairly strident, giving his previous words. Paul uses the word dogs in a very interesting way. This is from the epistle to the Philippians, chapter 3, verses 2 through 4. Beware of the dogs, beware of the evil workers, beware of those who mutilate the flesh. For it is we who are the circumcision, who worship in the Spirit of God and boast in Christ Jesus, and have no confidence in the flesh, even though I too have reason for confidence in the flesh. So whereas before the term dog is used as a pejorative against non-Jews by Jesus himself, Paul is now using the term dog to refer to Jewish Christians. There are only a couple instances of the word dog in the Bible where it may be implied that prostitution is involved. This is from Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 18. You shall not bring the fee of a prostitute or the wages of a male prostitute into the house of Yahweh your God in payment for any vow. Both of these are abhorrent to Yahweh your God. What's translated into English here as male prostitute is dog. Now, the Jewish Study Bible mentions that the evidence for such sacred temple prostitution in the ancient Near East is fairly scant. So it suggests that this may be interpreted as non-approved worship practices, which are being polemicized as being unfaithful to Yahweh. The last example, which can imply prostitution in the Bible, is in Revelation chapter 22, verses 14 through 15. Blessed are those who wash their robes, so that they will have the right to the tree of life and may enter the city by the gates. Outside are the dogs and sorcerers and fornicators and murderers and idolaters and everyone who loves and practices falsehood. So again, it seems to be associated with idolatrous practices. And Revelation is also fairly clear about what's going to happen to these kinds of people in chapter 21, verse 8. But as for the cowardly, the faithless, the polluted, the murderers, the fornicators, the sorcerers, the idolaters, and all liars, their place will be in the lake that burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death. So, Jesus referring to this woman as a dog, and actually referring to non-Jews as dogs, shouldn't be interpreted lightly.